you in the playoffs, it's no longer about you. It's about the team. And so you got to sacrifice. And sacrifice is going to happen offensively with that +1. We can't miss nobody. Because that +1.
That can turn the game. Get a ball to Steph every time.
Memphis, right?
Yeah.
You could see where the head coach was needed right away.
My take on the game was the discipline. Memphis Grizzlies wasn't disciplined enough. On the playoffs, the other guys got to show up big, and I felt like the other guys came up big for Orlando.
Orlando's offense has been consistently inconsistent all year. But one thing they've been able to do is they've been able to guard.
Yo, welcome back to the Timeout. I'm actually Dwyane Wade. I'm excited today. We're about to have a good conversation. Let me introduce my guy. We call him Free Wright, a.k.a. D Wright. Y'all know who he is. You got anything for free?
Ship it in.
It's for D.
Yeah, send that.
Send that.
I make sure everything fit for everybody.
Yeah, Free Wright over
Free
there.
Wright.
Sitting next to me is Coach Johnson.
We in the
Chris
building.
Johnson, everybody.
Yep.
What's up, dog?
I'm feeling good.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm happy we got
you
our
look in the
brother.
mirror before you said on here about your hair? Because I
Man,
know
listen, you know, at some point, when you come off the court and you come right to the studio,
Yeah.
you just got to ride with it.
Ooh, you was working
Man.
today.
Been grinding. We're in pre-draft.
Yeah. We'll talk about it. We'll talk
talk
about
about
another
that.
show though. Today we got my brother in the building. We got our brother in the building.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to UD.
I gotta give me a nickname. I want a cool nickname like y'all. Y'all go call me. I gotta get a cool nickname like y'all.
Well, you just UD. Man, you don't like nobody calling you nothing but UD. So how this working?
Just don't call me by my full name.
Oh yeah. Hey, you know I ain't gonna even hold you. When I be out there talking about you, and I be like, yeah, you know, Udonis every time. I be like, I hope you don't see this interview.
He ain't gonna like this.
He ain't gonna like me saying this government.
Next time I come back, I'm gonna have a cool nickname.
Yeah, for sure. We got
we'll
you.
figure
We
some
just
shit
came
out.
up with Free Wright because he like free gear, and so we
Hell
just came
yeah.
up with Free Wright.
Send that here.
Listen, the worst thing ever is when you retire, you don't get nothing for free no more.
You got to start paying for shit.
You gotta buy basketball shoes. I be going in my son's closet taking shit.
Well, I appreciate everybody. I appreciate everybody rocking these. I see the Way of Wade logos on a lot of these sneakers down here.
Yeah, I
Lil
was just
Leans
gonna
that
say,
we
you
got
gotta
on.
speak for me and you. We don't get shit for free.
Oh yeah,
That don't apply. That nigga.
Hey man, let's focus. Let's
Okay,
focus.
my bad. I was just saying. Okay, let's get back on track. Coach, what's up, coach?
Hey, don't try to get on me already, dog. Let's focus.
This the coach's corner over here,
All
man.
right,
I love that. The coach's corner.
is the coach's
Keep
corner.
me in the coach's corner.
I'm in the
This is
coach's corner.
Keep me in the
All right,
coach's
Coach,
corner.
So I'm gonna go to you right away, Coach.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, us over here are champions. We got Larry O'Brien's over here. So what's important to us is winning time. All right, we keep talking about the last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
What's important? Talk to me about what you saw in the last 5 minutes from either Golden State or Memphis that impressed you, and also too what they possibly need to work on going forward.
We're starting with Memphis, right?
Yeah.
You can see where the head coach was needed right away. You know, right away, this head coach is missing, and so adjustments didn't happen. UD kept screaming about, first of all, switching the ball screen in the middle of the floor with Steph and Jimmy. They never made an adjustment. Jimmy touched the paint every time.
Yeah.
And if he didn't touch the paint, Steph got the open three anyway.
Yeah.
And so it became a double screen. So when you screening and you holding, that's a double screen, and it's leaving Jimmy naked to make all the plays.
Yeah.
And so that was one adjustment that they didn't make. Two, decision making. You talked about mental resilience.
Well, mental endurance as
Yeah,
well.
mental
Yeah.
endurance. And so decision making down the stretch was questionable. You know, we had Ja had the turnover. We had a few loose ball plays.
Jaren Jackson had a turnover.
Jaren Jackson
had some
had a
bad shot
turnover.
selections possibly.
Yeah, possibly. And I'll even go back to when Bain had the +1. When it turned into a 5-0 run, you know. And so that is where a head coach comes into play that is on the sideline that shows discipline, and down the stretch you need
Okay,
discipline.
but outside of the head coach, what about the guys on the floor? Who on the floor supposed to be that guy? Because coach can't. He ain't out there. The game is going.
And that's where the importance of leadership and veteran leadership come in it. So like a team like Memphis, they need vets over there
Yeah.
because that's how you get. So if you look on the bench, you don't have that third string Marcus Smart there no more. You know, somebody that's vocal, that's verbal, that can go at and talk to people and get better things out of them, get better play at that moment. And so without a coach, which a coach is you guys play for Spo. Y'all know how important having a great head coach and a culture is. And people always try to talk negative about a Heat culture, but what's a team with no culture?
Say something. All right, give me Golden State. What did you see what Golden State did that you liked in that last 5 minutes?
Well, number one, they went back to what you talked about, you were screaming about before the game. They got the ball to Steph every time. Steph got open.
Get a ball to Steph.
Right away.
Every time.
So they kept it simple. And maybe they learned from the last time of setting the screen for Buddy and not going to Steph right away.
For sure.
You know, you can learn. And so Steph is a closer. He's great free throw shooter, great decision.
And what did they do? What we talk about? We talked about they didn't bring someone up to set a screen for Steph.
They left the 1-4 flat for that last shot. He didn't miss it. He didn't make the shot.
But even getting the ball in bounds.
The adjustment was made.
Yes.
Getting in bounds, what did they do?
The adjustment was made. They kept the guys on the baseline. They ran 1-4 flat. They let him get the ball up top.
Right.
They gave him as much space as possible, and he got a good shot.
And they let him get open, right? They let him juke and get open. They didn't bring Draymond or someone to bring another defender. They let him go 1-on-2. And if you want the ball, you're going to go get the ball.
Yeah, that was an adjustment.
I thought Golden State also got the player that they wanted to shoot the ball. You know, in the last 2 minutes, a lot of times you don't get the right guy the ball at the right moment. Draymond, being an unbelievable high basketball IQ player, had the pistol play where Steph continued to move, and that was a bury you three. So that was a +1 pass right there. Then you had Steph on another three.
That was a beautiful play.
That's a beautiful play.
That was a beautiful play.
And most guys don't have the
high IQ play by Draymond, first of all,
Yep,
and
no doubt.
obviously Steph.
And Steph.
That's
They
a
continue to move.
relationship. That's just relationship over the years.
Yeah.
You just know that. You know what I mean?
And so in that last 5 minutes, right, with Golden State, like that high IQ, you know Draymond and Steph trust each other.
Yes.
And so that's what you kind of saw in that last minute. You saw a trust in Golden State that we possibly didn't see on the other side with Memphis.
Well, yeah, when I'm watching that game, and I think that game came down to the last 5 minutes and who made the right plays and who had the ball in the right person's hand at the right times. I think you can eliminate the first couple minutes of the game, and you can really just look at the last 5 minutes.
Yeah. Because of what?
And
What
that can
did we
tell
say?
you.
What is the last 5
The ball
minutes?
was where it was supposed to be every single time for Golden State.
Right.
And on the other end, there was some mishaps. You had some turnovers. You had a situation where you got the ball, and I thought he could have just went straight up and not taken nothing away from him, because I think he did a hell of a job on the offensive rebounding and getting extra possessions tonight. But there was an opportunity where you're 7 foot, you got that ball in front of the basket. You just got to go straight up.
Yeah.
Yep,
You know
no
what I'm
doubt.
saying?
But they don't have, but you need, it boiled down to the habits. Golden State has the habits. Memphis doesn't have the habits.
Right.
And so that last 5 minutes exposes your habits.
Yes.
When we talking about defensively and offensively. We're sitting here talking about what Memphis didn't do on the defensive end of the floor.
Yeah.
They didn't know, it was no call. We didn't know what they were in.
It was on both sides.
They don't have the habits.
It was on both sides, because once again, you talked about the 5-0 run,
Right.
which was a 5-0 swing, because you get Jaren Jackson Jr. a 3 right in the corner, and then you
he
come
made
down the
that.
next play, and he's wide open again, and Desmond Bain gets a turnover.
In his favorite corner.
Right there to him.
Swing.
And then now you don't get that wide open 3, which most likely he's going to make that, and then Golden State comes back
It's a
down to get a
timeout.
bucket.
It's a timeout.
Outside of the turnover that Jimmy got when he had 2 feet in the paint
2
and
feet
could
in
have
the
did
paint.
whatever he wanted with it, Golden State got the ball where they wanted and to who they wanted every single time.
Absolutely.
I can't say the same thing for Memphis. Even come down to that last play, there was no effort. There was no energy to get open. There was no burst.
Out of bounds play, the
Yeah, there was no
sideline.
burst. Everybody was jogging. Like that last play, you got to be sprinting to your spots.
These are the habits.
Yeah,
And it's gotta
you
be
got to
a
be
quick
sprinting to
hitter.
your spots.
I don't
But I
feel
agree.
like- I don't feel like it was a quick hitter. And my take on the game was the discipline. Memphis Grizzlies wasn't disciplined enough. The guy that's 1, 2, and possibly 3rd on the scouting report, you let him score the last 15 points of the game.
He did, bro.
He scored the last 15 points of the game. So they put the ball in the hand of the person that should be in. Memphis Grizzlies didn't have the proper discipline to stay in front of Steph Curry and make things difficult for him.
How important is it to execute that side out of bounds? It was a 1-possession game. They get a 5-second count.
First of all, first things first. That's got to be run with energy.
Bro, that first-
everybody, as soon as he smacked that ball, everybody's got to be
before he even
sprinting to
smacked
their
it, you should
spots.
be on your move.
Like you got to be on your horse. Like I got it. Like that was jogging.
lackadaisical.
Yeah, it was very lackadaisical. You know what I'm saying? Like
But
I could have
thing is,
face guarded somebody.
That's a new coach over there. That's a new voice over there, right? And so that's not, to me, when we running that play, we know what we're running. We come to timeout, we already know we're running. The timeout ain't spent on the play.
Right.
Timeout is spent on other things, other conversations, because we know what play we running. That right there just looked like something they was not comfortable with.
And to your point about habits, there's plays where you'll go to an NBA practice and all you will do is run sets that their game end the game sets.
Yep.
And you run those full speed. You're sweating.
Full
just
speed.
running end the game sets.
Yeah.
You're running with no defense.
Yeah.
You're running end the game sets. So your habits when you're at the end of a game, in a game,
That's when they show.
boom, it's second nature.
From the heart.
To get to your
Offensive
spot.
habits, defensive
It's second
habits.
nature to get open. It's second nature to do those things. Just like how it's second nature for Steph to get open with 2 guys on him.
So
I'm going to get open.
So mental fatigue is real.
Yeah.
For sure.
So in that last 5 minutes,
sure.
you can start looking at just the mental fatigue.
Yes.
Listen,
You look
Miss
at
free
that's the
throws.
separator.
How many times they miss? They make one, miss one.
Man, down the stretch, listen.
That's the separator, bro. The last 5 minutes is the separator of any game. And you know, if you're a good team, if you're a good team on the road and you close in the last 5, if I'm close in the last 5 minutes with my team,
possessions, yeah.
I'm looking at it like within 6 points in the last 5 minutes on the road, we got this game.
We can win it.
Because I know we got the horses to be able to get us over that hump. Because I don't know if y'all habits is like our habits, but coming from Miami Heat, I know what we do have.
Yes.
We have habits that have been built day after day after day after day. If those habits ain't built, I said this about Fred Hoiberg when I went to Chicago.
Yeah.
Why are we allowing the second unit to fuck up plays here in practice? Because when those 20,000 get out there, them lights get bright, that popcorn get popping. If they can't execute a play in practice 5-on-0, ain't no way in hell we executing a play out here in this game. And so the discipline to make sure that you get it right every time.
And the inbounder is the most important guy on the team. I used to always be that guy, the inbounder. So that mental clock, you got to know and count in your head. You got to fake a pass or make a pass. And if the shit not going the way it's supposed to go, you either call a timeout or you throw the ball off of somebody.
They were coming out of a timeout. So you got to know your personnel to put the right guy that can throw it in. Because everybody can't throw the ball in bounds.
I'm not putting shit on the guy that threw it in if them motherfuckers don't get open.
Yeah, no, for sure.
You gotta act like you want to get open.
Yeah.
What the fuck I can do if y'all don't get open? Like, I don't give a fuck if I throw that motherfucker Curly Neal style.
Bro,
if you don't get open,
the first curl of it
was so
so
slow.
slow.
Yeah.
And
It
then
was
Ja
so
coming
slow.
off was slow. Like the whole play
it
was
was
slow.
all very slow. Inbounder, I don't give a damn who was inbounding that ball.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I just felt like the play just took too long to manifest. And to your point, we talk about habits. I think the NBA overall has become pretty cookie cutter, and everybody don't have the habits to play at a high level, but I think everybody tries to play the same way.
Right.
And to me, I think that's where, sometimes the game falls short of giving us everything it can give us from each player.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Because of habits. These are habits. Take the Boston Celtics, for example. These are habits that they have built over the years through training camp, hours in the gym. They didn't just come out there and start playing like that.
Right.
That shit didn't just start clicking.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think more people need to start getting into the details and the tedious process of building
You ain't
habits.
coaching, coach.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And that's,
You're right.
that's
Talk
for
about
me.
that.
And that's for me.
That's why it's important to have ex-NBA players
Ex-NBA
coaching.
NBA
be
players,
surprised.
former players, people that's been there. You know what I mean? Because everybody don't have a Steph Curry. So how the hell are you playing like the Golden State Warriors? You don't got the same personnel.
Thank you,
playing?
Coach.
Listen, the
Yeah.
Golden
That's
State
what I'm
Warriors
saying,
weren't playing like
man.
the Golden State Warriors before Jimmy got there.
Everybody
for
don't
real.
have the habits.
Jimmy's real too, by the way.
Just bringing Jimmy in, Steph gonna do what Steph do, but it's made it easier on him.
That
They
has
weren't playing like
unlocked
Golden
Steph.
State.
That has unlocked Steph times
Yeah,
two.
it's unlocked
And that
Steph.
takes nothing away from who he is and what he is, but that
it's
has unlocked Steph.
Other great players need to play with great
Yes,
players.
that has
Let's
unlocked
quit
Steph
this narrative.
tremendously.
All right, D-Ray, you're someone who's spent a lot of time around the Golden State organization and team. This time of the year, right? This is winning time. This is no matter if they're in the play-in or not. How confident are you of what Golden State can accomplish in this playoff series because of the culture that's been built?
Yeah, I'm very confident in them just because they got championship pedigree. You got Steph Curry, Steve Kerr, Draymond Green. They've been there. They've done it. They know how to motivate. They know how to lead. Draymond more vocally, Steph more watch what I do. So I really believe that they can go deep in this playoff run just because of that championship pedigree, understanding how to get through difficult games. If it's a game 7, they've been there. So they were my sleeper to win it all before they kind of like had a nasty ending to the season.
Right.
I felt like they were the sleepers. You know what I mean? Not saying they were going to probably win it, but my sleeper was the Warriors winning.
Because normally sleepers ain't who winning it. It's just a sleeper.
Yeah, he's just a sleeper. Yeah, they sleep.
They may sneak up on you, but I don't know if they're gonna win.
But I thought they had enough a couple of weeks ago to win it all.
Yeah.
But now they got to figure it out. I want to see Jonathan Kuminga on the floor.
Yeah.
Athleticism, length.
And why he's not on the floor?
Because he doesn't play the proper way. He don't play
not
within
playing
the
in a
system.
Within the
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he don't understand when you throw it to the post, you got to cut.
But why don't he understand? He's been there.
Been there about 3-4 years.
4 years.
Because he's a young fella, and he knows how good he is, and he's very talented.
very good.
But
Yeah,
he
very
just doesn't play within the system.
So within that, when you think about it, because I kept watching the shot clock, you got 16 seconds in the half court at max, right? I mean, Golden State moving the ball for 12 to 14 seconds if they're not getting an initial.
Yeah.
You got to move without the ball. Jimmy had 38, but Jimmy didn't have but like 1 or 2 one-on-one.
Playoff Jimmy.
Yep.
Playoff Jimmy.
Playoff Jimmy
He was
here.
cutting without the ball. He was moving.
Listen, I know my boy. I know how that must have felt for you there. Seeing playoff Jimmy over there do his thing, in a different jersey.
I wish Jimmy all the best, man. I think the way that deal worked out, it worked out best for everybody.
Right.
You're not going to get a better player than Andrew Wiggins, in that move. You know what I'm saying? So, we
you just sound real corporate right there.
No, I'm being real. We
didn't sound real corporate. You ain't gonna get no better
We
player.
talking about a dude in the 2022.
No,
We talking about a dude in the
no.
2022
Great
finals
move,
could have
but-
been easily the MVP.
Right.
But
That
Jimmy
2022
did
finals.
what we all love Jimmy to do. Like Jimmy is one of them players that you said, like, obviously you've been around a lot of great players, but Jimmy has a certain kind of unique skill and talent that you just can't see by the naked eye.
I tell people this all the time. I play defense on you, just guarding you in practice, just getting you ready. I play defense on Bron. I play defense on ISO Joe. Everybody's different, but Jimmy is probably the smartest offensive player I've ever had to play.
Right.
Very smart.
Maybe he didn't have their
No,
talent and their
for sure.
skill set, but he is very smart. I'm a jab this leg just to get you to drop this leg. Once you drop that leg, I'm gonna attack this and go the other way. He's that technical.
Who was
I
his
used to
trainer?
go, I used to go home.
Who used to be his trainer?
That you with that shit? Listen, I used to go home after playing this motherfucker and just think, okay, this is what I'm gonna do tomorrow. This is what I'm gonna do differently.
Footwork to
You know what I'm
me in basketball is one that's overlooked, undertaught.
Facts.
And it's the most important thing for you to get anywhere on the court. It's more important than dribbling. Because when I was watching Melo, we was talking. I sent y'all the Hezzy, but I'm going back and watching Hall of Fame Melo now. And I'm like, oh, that boy was cold. Then when you watch players that can play in ISO situations, they wasn't taking a lot of dribbles. The ball was moved to them, and they was catching it in situations to score. And so with Jimmy at his size and what he was doing, our focus point was to carbon copy Flash, carbon copy Kobe, Mike. He wasn't them, but if I can get him the footwork, and if you watch him with the shimmy hip to hip, he blew by the guy tonight right away. But he's cutting without the ball, and he's
I figured that
getting
shit
loose
be
ball.
hip to hip out though.
You did what
It
you
go right every time.
Yeah, it go right every time.
It go right every time.
I played against it enough. Every time.
I've never seen it go anywhere
But you want me to tell you the counter of it? The counter is it does go right every time because if he can get you when he gets you the
Fuck
free,
me up too. The counter. I'm waiting for the counter. That ain't the counter. He finna give us the counter
I'm
right
gonna
now.
tell you the counter. I'm gonna tell you the
Time
counter.
out, man. This nigga saying some bullshit.
Bro, I ain't got no button here.
Listen,
but I got one.
after he hit me with that shit for 2 days straight, I got home and I said that shit go right every time.
Did he spin
go
on you?
baseline every time.
It go baseline.
But-
But it was
who
always
did
on the
it?
other side.
Who did
I've
it?
never seen him shimmy and go left on the baseline.
Who did we
Never.
play with? Who did we
Never.
play with that used to do that move?
Shane Battier.
Shane Battier.
Shane
Where you
Battier.
get it from?
I
Anybody
didn't know
know?
where Shane got it from.
Steve Blake is the
I just talked to
creator.
Steve Blake the other day.
Steve Blake
Shout
is
out my
the
dog
Blake.
Steve Blake, Miami High Stingery.
Yo, I saw a dude walking down the street in the Steve Blake jersey.
Really?
Yo, we rolled down the window. Was like, yo.
I saw Steve Blake the other day too, man. I ain't seen Blake since fucking I played against him, and I ran into him at an AAU tournament when I was with my son the other day.
Shout out to
Same.
Steve
I
Blake.
coached
I
against
Steve
him.
Blake, yeah.
I got a question for you, UD. So let's go in Memphis locker room. Right. So right now you're Memphis. You have another game to play. You played the winner of
Dallas.
the Dallas and Sac game.
Yep.
What's the conversation? What's the mentality? We got Ja who twists his ankle in the game. What's the mentality in the conversation?
First things first, if you're going to Memphis, you're encouraged because you damn sure could have won that game.
On the road.
You could have won that game on the road. I mean, the one thing you want to do is you want to keep it close and give yourself a chance to win at the end. And they did everything but execute down the stretch.
Yeah.
So you look at that game and you say, okay, we didn't play 48 minutes. We played 46, played 47. For 48-minute effort come, we would have won that game. So you going into the next game, you're not really tripping, but you want to tighten up on those details because you're expecting this next game to possibly go down to the wide end. You don't want to make the same motherfuckers. You don't want to make the same mistakes.
No doubt.
Yeah, you don't want to make the same mistakes. You want to learn from those mistakes. So if I'm that coach, I'm not really focusing on getting up and down. Obviously, Ja got a tight ankle or whatever. I'm really getting in the half court, and I'm focusing on end-of-game situations and executing down the stretch. And then what we going to do on pick and rolls?
Yeah.
We need to clean that up.
Yeah.
We need to have a definitive pick and roll scheme.
1,000%.
Now, if we have to go to plan B, then we go to
1,000%.
plan B. But we need to be definitive on how we go on pick and rolls based on, the personnel that we playing against. So I'm looking at that next matchup, and it could be Dallas, it could be DeRozan or Sack. Okay, now if it's DeRozan and those guys, I don't think you're going to switch that because DeRozan going to kill switches. He's going to kill bigs on switches. Then you got big Sabonis down there, so you're going to need Josh Edey in the paint. So you're going to figure out how you're going to switch that. You're going to zone that with your big. With your guards, I don't think their guard's big enough to switch on DeRozan. So now your scheme is changing. Yeah, because he's going to kill them little motherfuckers.
Yeah, Levine as well.
He's a professional scorer.
Yeah.
That motherfucker get to his spots and pull up like he left his phone.
You can't stop him.
Yeah, he get to his spots and pull up like he left his phone.
I'm excited about that. I'm excited about seeing Zach Levine and DeRozan back in the
They're going to have a different defensive scheme.
Okay.
So now I'm in the film and I'm saying, okay, what's our scheme on pick and rolls? Because the shit we did tonight can't work.
Okay.
The NBA is 60 fucking pick and rolls. That's what the NBA is, 60,000 pick and rolls.
So we got to be prepared for it.
So I'm simplifying my next practice. My next practice is defensive schemes and end-of-game situations.
Okay.
Simple.
Chris, question for you. This is the last thing on this. If you're a coach, right? So we're talking to Coach Johnson right now. If you're the coach on the Memphis side, what is your conversation? What is your message to this team about the performance that was put out here tonight and what they need to do going forward?
Number one, when you in the playoffs, it's no longer about you. It's about the team. And so you got to sacrifice. And sacrifice is going to happen offensively with that +1. We can't miss nobody. Because that +1.
That could turn the game.
Bro, they was in the transition. And it happened multiple times.
So are you focused on that in film? Are you talking about that play right there?
Absolutely. Because now we want to share the ball, which put the defense in closeout situations. And anytime you close out situations, you can attack the basket. Memphis will be great when they can move the ball. If the ball is sticking, they're a terrible offensive team.
Yeah.
So you got to talk about sharing and playing as a team and as a unit because you can't win in the playoffs if you're not one. And on the defensive end, like UD said, it comes down to having a strict game plan but sticking to it, but then understanding that pick and rolls happen every other play in the NBA. And if you're not clear on what's happening, it's a lot of what ifs. If you go back and watch the Golden State game, I think Jimmy probably had 60 paint touches. Just on
down the stretch, it was literally Jimmy handling and Steph setting screens for him.
Okay, so that's
what it was down the stretch.
So here's
they
my
got
point.
what they wanted every time.
That's how simple the game plan
So here's my point. My point is this: Golden State. Well, we remember before Draymond fouled out the game, but Golden State had the ball in pretty much Jimmy, Draymond, and Steph hands.
Yes.
Almost every time down the floor. Now, when we go to Memphis, we can't say the same thing. We can't say that it was in their three best players' hands when it came down to the stretch.
Well, it was Desmond Bane at first, and then Ja came back in.
Right, but we didn't see JJJ none at all, not being in that offense. But I'm saying is they had their best three involved in all the sets on that end, so they were very comfortable in what they're gonna do, what they're gonna get into because they had the right three in it. On this end, we don't know who was gonna be in the set. When it come down to to winning time, we need to know. All right, this is what we running. You setting the screen with me. D Wright, you doing this, and we doing this. This is what we doing.
No doubt.
Everybody else, be ready.
That's right, bro.
They didn't have no continuity at all into what they were going to do. I didn't know what sets they were in. I know who was going to get the ball. I know obviously Ja going to get it, but like, where he's getting the ball at, I don't know this by watching.
They didn't make it easy.
Let's say this. Let's maybe have a little grace for the new guy.
I mean, you've been sitting there with the team the whole year. He's probably either the offensive coach. He probably the offensive coach.
You think
or the
he knew that the
defensive
coach was gonna get fired and he was gonna be coaching in the play-in game?
He should be ready
when
for
the
that,
goddamn
though.
season on the line.
Well, the
that
reason
motherfucker
why
just came from Europe.
the reason why he got
He
fired
ain't think that he did not.
was ball movement, right? That's why he got.
They did. Why? Because it was too much ball
It
movement?
was too much ball movement. That's why he got
How
fired.
you gonna get fired because too much ball movement?
Man, we're gonna have to call coach.
That's what happened.
Why they do you like that? Damn right. They got
that's
rid
what
of him
But that ball
because
movement actually was very good tonight in the game.
Yeah.
Like, even though Ja had statistically, I don't know what it was, but Ja had his imprint on the game. The ball movement at one point in the game was what brought them back in the game, in this game. Then they went away from the actual probably ball movement and went to what you should do, go to your guys. They just didn't go to the main guys, but we saw a lot of Ja.
Yeah, that happened when Ja was on the bench. If we don't, we can all recall. They made a run when Ja went to the bench.
They made a run.
This team also played a lot of games without Ja, and they had a successful record without Ja. So they know how to play without Ja Morant, and the ball was popping. Not saying Ja Morant can't do or get in his bag, but when he went to the bench, that's when the ball was moving.
It was Orlando versus Atlanta. Just quick going around the horn on you watched the game, what you saw in that from Orlando, obviously playing at home, winning that game versus Atlanta.
It was energy. Wagner and Paolo, they didn't play their best game, and the other guys. We all know in the playoffs, the other guys got to show up big, and I felt like the other guys came up big for Orlando. They played with energy. They played with pace. Atlanta did show a little bit of fight, but at the end of the day, they got on another run and blew the lead up.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, Orlando's offense has been consistently inconsistent all year. But one thing they've been able to do is they've been able to guard.
Yeah.
They got wing defenders. They got length. Williams or Michael Carter. No, not Michael Carter Williams. What is it? Carter. Wendell Carter.
Wendell Carter
can move his feet. He can slide them puppies.
He can.
So what they did was they started out with some length on Trey, which I thought they would. They started with some length on Trey, and they switched pick and rolls and eliminated every trigger. And once you eliminate those triggers, you take the other guys out. We got the #1 assist guy in the league right here. Right. So that means a lot of the offense is being facilitated through him. If he's not scoring, he's facilitating for the other guys. So now you flatten them out. You make Trey have to go one-on-one. You take those other guys out. But where the game turned is Orlando made shots tonight.
Yeah.
And that's what changed for them. The defense is always there for them. Their offense is up and down. Tonight they made shots.
Why is their offense up and down, though?
With
because
who you talking about?
The one thing they struggle with is three-point shooting. That's something that they struggle with the last couple
years.
They got
KCP.
They got KCP. But
who's the other
besides that, they struggle with three-point
Gary Harris. He made some shots.
So, but that's their Achilles heel, the three. But they can
because they get the ISOs, they get a lot
and they can turn that motherfucker over. They can get going down here.
Who they play?
Wagner and those guys get going down here.
They're the 7th seed now.
So they play the winner of the. They playing.
No,
they
got
Boston second seed. So who they playing?
They got Boston.
They got Boston.
We're gonna talk about that in the next segment. So real quick, Miami Heat versus Chicago Bulls play-in game. Give me something real quick on the Miami Heat. What they need to do to go on. They going on the road, right? UD. They go on the road. We just got down talking to Bammy in his hotel room, looking lonely with that weak ass goatee, and they got to go in Chicago and they got to get a win. And they've struggled versus Chicago this season.
Yes.
Right.
So what do they got to do to go in there and get a dub?
First of all, they got Spo. So Spo is doing his homework. He got game time adjustments. He got in-game adjustments. And I think when you have a leader like that, Miami has an opportunity to win the game. And not only win it, they'll be ready for the next game. So when you got Spo, I'm looking at the head coach. And Spo's going to utilize his personnel.
Yeah.
He's going to figure out when to pull that zone out.
He gonna pull that gold card out, which is AKA zone.
I think he's going to win probably the majority of the ATOs, whether he's on defense or offense.
Yeah.
And I think offensively, he's going to play through Bam, but Tyler can have a big game at any point. So I don't think with Spo coaching, it really don't matter in personnel. He's going to look and utilize his team the best for what they do.
So, but Chicago also has a great coach over there too, right? They have a Hall of Fame coach sitting over on this side too.
I think he's a great coach, but he's not Spo.
So this matchup is a coaching matchup.
It's a coaching matchup.
So I agree with you 100%. I think the players obviously going to do the job that they're supposed to do, but I think this matchup between Chicago Bulls and Miami Heat is going to be one. Remember, I talked about sometimes coaches got to win your game.
Yeah.
This play-in game right here is going to be won by that coaching staff in Miami.
That's what I think.
The game plan that is put together to obviously on the offensive end to put Tyler and put Bam in the best places. Like we talked to Bam. We want to see it.
Yeah.
I don't want you to just be out there. We want to see it. We want to see you aggressive, Bam. But it's also on the coaches to make sure they put the right game plan. But I believe that Spo or Billy, Whoever comes in with the best game plan for this game is going to put their team in the best position to win. I think this is one on the coach's side.
Who can get their team to believe? So Spoke can go back and say, "Hey, we've done this before."
Right? Yeah.
It's the blueprint for it.
It's pretty much it's the Heat Bowl.
Man,
Exactly.
I'm sitting in that locker room and I'm in that locker room and I'm with the Miami Heat right now. I'm looking around and I'm telling the motherfuckers, Jesus got to come down here in a Jeep and tell me that somebody could beat me 4 times in a row. Jesus got to come down here with a Jeep and tell me somebody gonna beat me 4 games in a row.
Okay.
Without me winning 1.
Okay.
Right.
They are 0-3 right now in Chicago. There's
There's
no way. There's no way I'm sitting in that locker room and telling me who the fuck gonna beat us 4 in a row. Please,
Right.
show me that team.
That's
We can't get
stand in
one.
the middle locker room. This is your message to the team as
Hell
coach.
yeah, you mean to tell me we can't get 1?
Yeah,
That was my message when we was playing against Boston that year. Remember we was up 3-0?
Yeah.
And when Boston won 3 in a row and we had to go back to Boston, I sent the group text. Bitch, ain't nobody in the world could tell me we could lose 4 in a row to anybody.
Did you start the group text with bitch?
No, to the team. No, that wasn't. I ain't started with bitch. But this is the group chat I'm selling to the guys. Like, hey, I don't give a fuck who it is. Can't nobody in this fucking association beat us 4 in a row.
All right, one last question on this before we close this section out.
So eliminate all the fuckery. Nobody's beating us 4 in a row. I don't believe that.
Do you like to play in?
I love it.
Why do you love it?
Because we've been the most successful team in playing history, motherfucker. That's simple.
You heard it from
Look at
me.
this guy over there.
He loves to play in. Everybody.
Welcome to the
It's worked for us.
I love it.
It's worked for us.
All right,
I love
Chris
it.
Johnson.
That shit terrible.
We have. It worked for us. Shit, we done came up out the mud 2 years in a row.